Hello everybody and welcome to what is our first ever world record overclocking attempt here in the UFD Tech office. We're joined by Doomed83, one of the best overclockers in the world, who's going to be helping us to try to break the record with some liquid nitrogen. And this is all brought to you by ADATA and their XPG LANCER Neon RGB DDR5 memory. So we're going to be trying to push the LANCER Neon as far as it'll possibly go. You've already done some testing around with this. What do you expect to get out of this overclocking session?
Today, I'm just hoping for about 6,300 megahertz.
Okay.
For in DDR5 terms, that's 12,600.
Okay, yeah, that is significantly faster than you're gonna get an overclock with at home without liquid nitrogen. The LANCER Neon RGB is rated to go up to DDR5 8000, so we're going 4.5 past that. With the help of Brian Doom's skill, as well as very, very competent RAM. So not only can you overclock it at home, but it can go even further beyond when you have a skilled technician doing all of that. Additionally, we have the ADATA Legend 900 Pro SSD, their Gen 4 NVMe SSD, a terabyte of storage going on here, as well as the XPG 1600 watt titanium power supply. So big thanks to ADATA, XPG for putting this on, providing us with the LANCER Neon RGB RAM to do all of this. We really appreciate it, and I appreciate you being out here.
Yeah, no problem.
So we haven't really talked about my experience with liquid nitrogen. I have played around with it before. When I lived in South Africa, I was brought out by Dr. Wees, who was one of South Africa's top overclockers back when it was Skylake, so 2017,
okay, yeah.
And we pushed it to like 6.2 gigahertz because that was what, like, it was fast at the time.
Back then,
yeah.
yes.
So today we're on the Z890 platform.
Correct.
What CPU do we have in this system?
In here we have a Core Ultra 7 265K.
Okay. And we're not really trying to overclock that.
No, we're actually going to be underclocking that a little bit, just to get a little bit more stability.
Okay. Yeah, because the integrated memory controller, all of that's on the CPU.
Correct.
So we just need to make sure that's running well to give the XPG LANCER Neon all of the juice it needs to go even further beyond. So we're excited. Big thanks to XPG ADATA for putting this on. I have always wanted to get into liquid nitrogen overclocking. I just never had the impetus to do it, but now we know how to get deliveries.
Yes.
We know how to get the whole containers delivered to our house, so maybe you're starting the first of many sessions here.
Yeah, feel free to invite me back anytime.
Okay, sounds good. All right, so we'll leave it up to you to kind of run the show. What's the first step here?
First step is, well, the insulation is super important. You have to insulate everything to keep the condensation off the board, because that can ruin a session real quick.
Yes. I know some overclockers like cover their board in like petroleum jelly. Are we doing that today?
No, not today. I didn't feel like, this is such a pretty board. I didn't feel like doing that. So I've just covered everything in as much towels as I can, keeping a few key areas accessible, the power button and a few of these control buttons over here, and the postcode, which I'm gonna need to see to see how it's posting and if I need to reboot the system or anything.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good.
So we're gonna go ahead and turn on the fans because we need to vent the nitrogen gas away from the system so that it doesn't pour the cold down on the board.
Okay, yeah.
And we're gonna go ahead and start pulling the memory down.
So we have a copper pot, is that right?
Correct. We have a copper pot on the memory and a copper heat spreader on the memory. And then we have a huge slug of copper on the CPU itself.
Okay, and then is this a 3D printed like pouring mechanism?
It's just a funnel to help me hit that pot because it's about that wide.
Yeah. Okay, so we need to get this down to temperature before we even turn on the system.
Correct.
So
correct.
what temperature are we aiming for here?
I'm looking for about -135 to -140 on the memory, and that's Celsius.
Okay.
And then I'll pull the CPU down to about -70 to -75.
Okay, and that's what the numbers we're looking at right
Correct. The top number is the memory, And the bottom number is the CPU.
Okay, so now we're below 0 already on the memory. How cold is liquid nitrogen? It's minus
196,
196.
roundabout.
Okay, yeah. So this is about as cold as you typically get when it comes to overclocking. I know some people do liquid helium. Have you ever played around with that?
I have not. I would love to do that someday, but it tends to kill hardware.
Okay.
And it's very, very expensive.
Yeah. So it's pretty neat that you know, most people try to keep their PC parts under temperature, you know, trying not to get it to go too hot. But here we're intentionally making it incredibly cold, so that we can do things like raise the voltage, right? And then that way the heat doesn't become a problem when we're trying to do
Correct. And certain parts of the memory and the CPU just simply operate better at colder temperatures, like sub-zero.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. This is so. It's just going to take a little while for us to get down to temperature.
It's going to take us a little bit to get that memory down, and then we can pour the CPU down pretty quick.
So we have a few people in chat saying, have you all ever tried a liquid nitrogen cooled PC? EtherStar, that is exactly what we're doing here today. We're liquid nitrogen cooling both the CPU as well as the memory because we're trying to set a world record attempt with the XPG LANCER Neon RGB DDR5 RAM. Doom over here, Brian has been playing around with it. He's already gotten some good attempts, some high numbers. We're going to try to go a little bit further beyond,
yes.
Just for the sake of setting records. But we'll see what we accomplish. But Doom is a accomplished liquid nitrogen overclocker. He is currently ranked number 3 in the US, number 5 out of extreme overclockers. So he has a lot of experience. He's actually really good at this, and I'm excited to have him here in the office helping us out with all this. So we're minus 64 degrees Celsius on the memory right now, and it's dropping quite quickly. Minus 69. Temperatures are dropping quite quickly.
Quite rapidly.
Does the RGB help the RAM from getting too cold when overclocking?
Not particularly, no.
So yeah, when it comes to liquid nitrogen overclocking, you kind of have to replace a lot of the cooling mechanisms. So the RAM we're using is the LANCER Neon RGB, but with the RGB removed. But one of the cool things, Michael, if you want to zoom on in here, one of the cool things about the LANCER Neon RGB is that it's 60% RGB according to the surface area, so you get the top and the bottom, as well as being the world's first eco-friendly RAM because it's made out of 50% PCR plastic. So ADATA having real good eco-consciousness with the LANCER Neon RGB RAM. It's going to look good in your system. It's going to have great RGB, as well as be incredibly performant. Very fast RAM as well. All right, so we got the memory down. We're at minus 97 Celsius right now, so now we're moving on to the CPU, which is now below 0. Happening very quickly. All right, I'm just gonna say this because I think it's funny. ADATA, I'm sorry. People are asking in chat how much to pee on the pot. How much money to do that?
Wait, that's illegal.
We're not going to be doing that here, okay?
No.
We're not doing that here.
Are you sure about that? We can't get through one stream.
No.
Also, Kevin Durant is here.
Kevin Durant, fitness official?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Shouts out.
All right, so we're at minus 112 on the memory, minus 55 on the CPU right now. What's the purpose of the two fans? So we already mentioned that earlier, but it's to make sure that the nitrogen gets removed from the board. We don't want any of the nitrogen gas going down, because then that means we'll get more condensation and can create bigger problems with killing hardware, which is bad. That is not what we want.
Yeah, not what we want at all. Almost there.
All right, so also on the board we have a graphics card that just looks to be packed. That looks like a fish.
Yes, it's actually called the OC Fish.
Oh, that's awesome. So that's just because we need graphics out.
We need display out, and I don't want to be putting extra stress on the CPU using the iGPU.
Yeah, makes sense.
And this is nice because it just doesn't have a fan to stick my fingers in.
Where do you get liquid nitrogen? You can just Google liquid nitrogen providers, and it turns out they'll deliver to people's houses.
Yeah.
Some of them will, some of them won't. So
It might take your
it just
delivery driver
depends.
by surprise, but
Yeah.
they'll do it.
Yeah, some of them will only deliver to commercial addresses.
The one in Pittsburgh, thankfully, doesn't have that requirement.
Yep.
Okay, and we are ready to turn on the system.
All right, we're ready to turn on the system. We're at minus 134 on the memory, minus 73 Celsius on the CPU. I can turn that a little. But just remember, Brian's the most important person to see this, not the camera.
I know. I'm just getting little shots of it every once in a while.
So this little tool right here, we just have it connected to thermistors. Is that?
Yes, yeah, K-type thermal probes, and that's just so that we can monitor the temperature correctly.
All right, we've got,
go.
Kyler, can you
We've
switch
got
over to
display
the capture?
And we
I'm just gonna
failed
yell
the boot.
capture at you,
That's
I don't know if it's
fine.
Can you reset that? Because it's,
So
Frozen.
yeah.
we're just gonna go ahead and try to go for it again.
Oh, it turned off, so we're good right now.
Yeah, sorry, it's gonna do that.
That's okay. Okay. Sounds good. One of our community members asked, do you overclock your personal PC for regular use?
My daily PC has a mild overclock on it, nothing serious. I mostly just, need stability on that.
Yeah.
You just subbed? I love you too.
Yay.
Thank you, Fekinator, for the sub.
Which benchmark are we testing? So how do we...
So this is literally just CPU frequency, so we're just using CPU Z
Okay.
and trying to get a valid file.
Yeah, as mentioned, we're trying to go for as fast of memory speed as we can. Kyler, can you switch it over now? Is it working? Does it show as
Yeah,
that
yeah.
on screen? Okay. Michael, you're in my way. I can't see.
That's got it in the perfect place to block it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so here we go. You guys are going to get to see a master overclocker at work messing around with the BIOS. We're going for 12,000 right away.
Yep.
All right, so what voltage are we looking to set the memory to achieve this?
So right now I'm running about 1.7 volts.
.7 volts, okay. Now at home, if you're using the Lancer Neon, you're going to be significantly under 1.7 volts. Do not try to do that yourself at home.
Yeah, you have to actually enable
Color capture.
an overclocking mode on the in the BIOS to be able to go past 1.5 volts usually.
Okay. So while we have a custom heat spreader on the Lancer Neon RGB memory, the one that comes included when you're actually using the RAM at home is actually done up pretty well to make sure that it's heavily set up for overclocking, where the heat spreader has reduced temperatures by about 10%, making it a lot easier for overclocking to happen. All right, so we booted in, we got
12,000, yeah.
12,000 right away.
Yeah, that's what we booted in at, and we're gonna try and push that a little further just
All right.
now.
So do you have to drop the temperatures more in order to accomplish that, or you just try to keep them stable?
Trying to keep them stable because it kind of sweet spots. There's a specific area where it likes to sit. And we're at 60, 12,120.
Oh, so you can just continue to increase the overclock with a button.
Correct.
Okay, so we don't have to go back into the BIOS.
And we're at 62, or 6120.
So we're at 6,120 megahertz, which, because it's DDR, double data rate, you actually double that number to get the effective clock speed. So we're at 6180, which is about 12,360. And then when it gets too far,
It's just gonna freeze.
it's going to freeze. And then do you need to go back into the BIOS to tweak a few things?
We'll just need to reboot for the
Okay.
most part. I might try and boot a little higher. We're at 62.25 now.
So do you tweak anything else, like the cast latency or any of the sub timings?
Yeah, so you have to, for going for maximum frequency above 6,000, you want to be very, very loose on your timings. So you see I'm running cast 62, and then so a lot of my sub timings are 127, 255.
Okay, yeah,
Very high, way higher than you would run normally.
yes. Yeah, the cast latency on the kit that we have right now, it's 6,400 megatransfers, but it's cast latency 32. But because we're at 6270 right now, so that's 12,500.
6285.
Oh, he's just going too fast for me to keep calling out the numbers. 6,300.
6,300, there we go.
All right, well, we hit 6,300, 6,315.
15. 6330. I'm gonna try and save a file there.
Okay, 6330, so that's 12,660 we just hit. Is one channel memory ideal for overclocking? When it comes to trying to hit max frequency,
Yes.
yes. Reducing system strain of any kind is the way to do it. So you can even see on extreme overclocking boards like the one we're using right now, it only has 2 RAM slots to begin with, and they're incredibly close to the CPU so that the copper runs in the PCB are as short as possible.
That's correct. Yeah. Yep, and I think we locked up, so.
Okay, we locked up. Do you think we got the file?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No. But that's okay. We at least got to 6330. And we go again.
All right.
So I'm gonna try to boot a little higher this time.
Because we booted in at 12
At
previous.
12,000, and I'm gonna try and do 12,133.
Okay.
I need to get my memory back down though.
Memory's at minus 134. You want it closer to 136?
Yeah, I want it 138
Eight.
preferably.
Okay.
Yeah, it's getting there.
You see, one of the cool things about working with a competent overclocker is that they already know the system kind of inside and out. So it's actually very easy for them to go in and just set it, because they've already played around with the hardware so much that he knows its eccentricities, where it's going to have problems, where it's not, what's what needs to be changed. Whereas for me to hit 12,000, I wouldn't know the first thing about how to do that. It would be a much longer session, but instantly we hit 12.
Yep.
Question, the rest of the liquid nitrogen, can we deep freeze and smash Kyler's favorite 3D prints?
I saw that. I think it sounds fun.
How about we do the dangerous stuff when Brian's not here and ADATA's not directly involved?
I would like that.
We can do liquid nitrogen on our own time.
All right.
So are we locked up currently?
It can take a little while to get in the BIOS sometimes, especially when I bring the memory too cold like I just did.
All right, so we're at minus 140. You don't want it that cold.
Yeah, it's right on the edge there.
And if you look, you guys can see condensation's already kind of building on the pot.
And I got a little bit on the side of the board where the patel keeps falling off there, but it's not that big a deal yet.
Here, I'll switch over to your camera so that they can see that. Michael, if you want to show them right there, that there's some condensation on the board by the motherboard connector. Shraff, we're at 1.7 volts on the memory. Can you drink it? No.
No, you will die.
It's not even.
I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
Somebody said you can drink it once.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And then never again. You can drink nothing ever again afterwards.
Yeah.
Capture, please, Kyler. I switched off for a second. So is the white side tank just for the RAM? Yes. So what you can't see under the towels is there's a custom heat spreader on the Lancer Neon RGB memory, and then there is the pot that sits on top of that, and then we're pouring the liquid nitrogen with the plastic funnel to go into the pot that's sitting on top of the memory.
Taking forever to get to the BIOS for some reason.
There we go. Starting at 12,133 to boot in now. Alright, so now is the dance of extreme overclocking, trying to make sure the temperatures stay within range while you're also trying to tweak things, while you're also trying to make sure that you're capturing your numbers or your benchmark, because you're trying to submit it to HWBot to get the verification that you actually did this. It's a whole process. So Brian's processing a lot right now. He's having to look at the temperature. He's having to think about what he's going to do to increase the memory, as well as capturing everything. All right, so we're loading up into CPU-Z now.
All right, and we're booted in at 12,133.
Can you zoom into the buttons over there?
250.
He's pressing buttons on
Oh, yeah,
the
yeah.
board.
Can't see this anymore. I gotta
Yeah.
stand in front of the main camera for a
That's
second.
fine. That's fine. We're on the screen capture right now, anyways. What's the record you guys are going for? We're trying to set single speed on the memory.
Memory frequency.
Memory frequency, that's what I was trying to say. We locked up at 12,560. No, you're good. You're out of the main shot. So we're just going right back in after locking up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just, I think we're at the wrong temperature.
Too high, too low?
I think we were a little too low.
Bro, you're using Windows 7. Is that...
No,
No.
it is Windows 10. It's
Windows
just
10.
a Windows 10 pre-installation environment. So it's just super light on CPU
Blue screen.
load, and we blue screen. Woohoo!
That's fine. We're recording it.
Oh,
So it was captured on stream. You're fine. So I have a lot of experience in amateur overclocking. I participated in HW Bot's amateur overclocking challenge where they traveled the world back in 2016, I believe it was. And they live streamed it at the time on, I think it was twitch.tv/overclockingtv. And one of the hosts, Truffman,
Truthman.
yes, his tagline whenever the blue screen would happen would be him exclaiming, "Blue screen!" It was fun. And it happened a lot because we didn't know what we were doing.
Excellent. Alright, we're back in the system now.
All right, we're back in. We're over 12 immediately. Already locked up.
Something's not happening.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. Sometimes it just doesn't want to play.
So what's the strategy now to keep going?
Well, I was having more luck booting at 12,000, so I think I'm gonna go back
Okay.
and try that.
Can someone explain in simple terms what overclocking is used for? Is it just to test hardware? Is there a purpose it's used for? So liquid nitrogen overclocking, the extreme overclocking that's happening right now, is for fun. It is really, it's exciting to be able to push hardware past its actual limits and be able to tweak and play around. You also get cool smoke coming up. It's for fun. It's also like, it's kind of, you can compete in it. Either, there are professional overclocking competitions that get hosted by various companies, or there are leaderboards online such as HW Bot where you can submit your scores and then compare yourself against the rest of the world and how other people are doing with that exact same hardware. So Brian here, Doom, he's actually number 3 in the US right now because of his scores. So that's really impressive to get in the top 10, let alone the top 5, and be number 3 in the US, because the US has a lot of very competent overclockers. So that's for extreme overclocking. For regular overclocking, like let's say you install some Lancer Neon RGB RAM DDR5 into your system, getting it from 6,400 megatransfers to 8,000 megatransfers, you can actually get more system performance. It's not just about the higher number. You can actually get better gaming FPS. You can get better CPU performance if you're trying to do things like do professional applications. So there's a balance that you have to strike where you need fast speed, but then also trying to make it so that you have stability, because when you're overclocking, as you've seen, things get
A little unstable.
unstable very quickly for various different reasons. But that's why when you're purchasing RAM, you want to see what it's rated for. So this XPG Lancer Neon RGB kit is rated for DDR5 6400 megatransfers. So I know I can confidently go into my BIOS and set it at 6400. Just like Brian's confidently setting this one at 12,000. Very, very different conditions. But if you were having to buy a kit that's DDR5 8000, which is what the Lancer Neon can go up to, then you can confidently go up that high with, as long as your CPU can handle it, because that's also part of it, is the memory controller on your CPU has to be compliant, even if your RAM's capable.
Something is not happy.
That's a good point, Trev. So overclocking, back in the day, used to mean very different things than it kind of means now, where it's like, right now it's more about like just pushing numbers, whereas back in the day, you could buy a very cheap piece of hardware and then unlock it to get it to the next tier without having to pay that extra money. Very similar to what we did with our recent video with the RX 9070. We flashed a 9070 XT BIOS onto it, and we're able to get the next tier level of performance via that overclock. But one of the reasons that doesn't happen anymore is hardware production is way better, hardware validation is way better, the amount of variance that they have in the quality of hardware has decreased because their production methods have gotten better, so they're able to guarantee you're going to hit this speed. Like, we know with confidence that you're going to get DDR5 8000 because we've validated that it's going to be that way, and we know, and that's what we're selling it to you as. Whereas before, certain kits could be rated for, I don't remember what DDR1 speeds were like, but they were rated for one speed, but because they had such a variance in, some kits could hit it, some kits couldn't, you could overclock some of them way further.
Something is very unhappy. I'm gonna pull my RGB again.
So we're at minus 142 on the memory, minus 71 on the CPU.
Yeah, I pulled it down a little too low on the memory. But we're still booting.
And we're still just trying to boot at 12,000.
Yeah, we're trying to boot at 12,000 right now. Oh, it's booting. There we go.
What CPU do you have? We have the Core Ultra 7 265K on a Z890 platform. And you can see here we've got the Lancer Neon RGB running at 12,000 megahertz right now. 12 gigahertz, if you will. We're at 6120, so you double that to be 12,240. What GPU do we have? Is this just a GT710?
It's a GT710,
Yeah.
yes.
That's shaped like a fish.
Correct.
All right, we're at
A lot of
12,360
overclockers like
now.
these.
12480. We're at 12500 now, a little bit over. We're locked up at 12540. Did you tune those timings or are those stock? The CL62 is not stock.
It is not stock. No, I think it's CL32 stock.
Yeah, on the DDR5 6400, it's CL32. That is simply because we are going for frequency as the measure of the overclock right now. Just trying to get the highest frequency possible. And so that requires very loose timings. If we were trying to go for RAM performance, like we're trying to do a RAM benchmark, then we might want to bring in the timings and balance that between frequency, but this goal is just complete frequency. Are those 16 or 24 gig sticks?
24 gig.
Yep.
Yes.
The one I have the box for is 16. But you can get them with high capacity. You can get them with high frequency, as well as this is being the first eco-friendly RAM. 50% recycled plastic that they're made out of. 72% CO2 reduction. ADATA taking the environmental friendliness of the RAM very seriously. And then also the RGB, which we had to take off for the overclocking, covers 60% of the entire area of the RAM sticks. So I'm just going to steal that focus real quick. See right there? This is going to be RGB. This is going to be RGB. One of the most RGBified pieces of RAM out there. LANCER Neon. Trying to go back in at 12 still?
Yeah, still just trying to do 12.
So out of all of the overclocking that you've done, what's your favorite like number that you've hit or like session that you've done?
Oh, that's hard to say.
That might be it.
This has been pretty fun. Just trying to push the frequency. Was able to get, I think, 5th in the world on this stick right here.
Okay. Yeah.
Or no, 8th. I'm sorry. If I had been able to validate what I did previously, it would have been 5th. But other than that, I really enjoy overclocking the Intel 14th gen.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, it's just fun running things at 8 gigahertz.
Yeah, so looking at your HWBot profile, which if you guys want to follow what Brian's doing, you can go to HWBot and look up Doomed83. And you can see that with this stick of memory, he hit 6309.5. So 12,619.
Correct. Which we've already seen past that, but didn't get to validate.
Yeah, that was our first.
Yeah, the
first boot.
First boot, and that's often the best boot, unfortunately. So Sometimes I can get it to play after that, sometimes I can't. Sure what's taking so long right here. There we go.
Boot it into Windows again. Coming in at 12 gigahertz right off the jump.
Let's go up.
So with this extreme overclocking board, what Brian's able to do is just, instead of having to go back into the BIOS every time and slightly increase the frequency and then boot back into Windows, it just has buttons that you can play with.
Yeah, and what we're doing is we're just increasing the base clock, which is taking being multiplied for the memory frequency.
So we're at 12,450 right now, 12,480. We're just overclocking the RAM right now. Just the Lancer Neon RGB that's being overclocked. We locked up at
500. 12,510, yeah. Yeah. I don't know that we're gonna get further today, but we'll try.
Somebody asked, how did you get into extreme overclocking?
Mostly I just wanted to play with liquid nitrogen at first,
Okay.
to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just enjoyed pushing hardware and playing with it. Honestly, I've been overclocking since I was about 10.
Okay.
But I got real
So-
serious in it back at 2019.
So you've been doing it for 10, 12 years?
Something like that. I've been doing liquid nitrogen for about 6 years.
6 years, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you hold any world records?
I used to have the PC Mark 10 Express world record. I still want to take that back. But you know, it's just on the to-do list.
Yeah.
That's one of those things that you just sit with the CPU at 8 gigahertz and run the benchmark for 20 minutes. It's a lot of fun.
What's the biggest hindrance from you being able to do this like every day? Is it like the cost? Is it the hardware access? Is it like, obviously?
A lot of it's the cost of the hardware.
Yeah, okay.
You know, I buy most of this stuff on my own, and you know, just the cost of the motherboards and processors and all that have gone up. I'm pretty lucky in that I get very, very cheap LN2. Alright, we're back in. 12,000. And up we go. But yeah, one of the big hurdles you have to get through when you're doing getting into liquid nitrogen overclocking is getting one of those. I've acquired about 7 of them now.
Oh, wow.
Thanks for the prime sub.
So I don't have to go that often, luckily.
All right, we're at 12,380 right now. locked up there. 12,390.
Yeah, I think we're pretty much done.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna need to tear it down before we can push any further.
Okay. You think doing another session later? Yeah.
If y'all are game for it,
Yeah,
sure,
yeah.
why not? Let's
Okay.
tear it down and see what we can do.
Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, we can, if you're cool with it, watch the teardown process. Is that fine?
Oh yeah, no problem.
Yeah, we never stop streaming, so it's not like.
Okay, yeah. All right.
Do we want any B-roll to tear down? Like,
I got B-roll of the setup, so.
okay. You can just reverse it.
Yeah, you're more than welcome to get whatever you think is interesting,
Okay.
especially with the other A7S3.
Yeah, I'll go swap it.
Yeah. I mean, you can stop the recording, Kyler.
If we have a second here where I can step away.
What that noise was? Yeah, can you grab me another drink? The orange cream.
How's it taste, bud? Is it good?
That was oddly well timed, Zebo.
Yeah.
Here, you have so much caffeine, you're gonna shut down.
Oh, here comes the blowtorch. So is the blowtorch just to get up to speed very quickly?
Yeah,
Are
it's
you on the
just to raise the
24 to 105?
temperature super high, super quickly.
Yeah, but no.
No.
I just
Yeah, because that has stabilization. So if you're doing hand,
Oh,
you
you're
need to be
right.
on that one.
Yeah.
This is gonna get real low.
Okay, no worries.
You just subbed? I love you too. 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 You just subbed? I love you too.
Samurai, thank you for the 10 gifted.
You just subbed? I love you too. You just subbed? I love you too.
I did that. That was fun. You're also like 30 seconds. I know. Okay.
You just subbed? I love you too. You just subbed? I love you too.
So what's the process
You
for
just
getting
subbed?
this ready for
I
another
love you
attempt?
too.
We have to get everything dry
Okay.
for the most part, and just make sure we haven't done any damage
just
or
subbed?
anywhere.
I love you too.
Normally not an issue, but mostly just making sure everything is 100% dry.
Yeah.
You just subbed? I love you too. You just subbed? I love you too.
So we've cleaned off the RAM. Now it's time for the CPU situation.
Yeah.
So underneath this heat spreader right here, you've got the XPG LANCER neon RGB, and it has to be connected to all of this in order for the liquid nitrogen to transfer the cold, or to evaporate the heat that's on the stick, rather. It's going the opposite way.
Correct. Yeah. And this yellow thing is just a thermal probe measuring the temperature of the actual PCB under there. The actual memory modules.
Thank you. So do you need to take the CPU pot off?
I don't think I need to because I've pretty much got underneath there.
Okay. What type of thermal material do you use to connect the pot to the CPU?
It's just regular thermal paste.
Okay.
What I'm using right now is sort of a pre-release that a friend of mine made.
Okay.
He's trying to get into the thermal paste.
So no condensation under the board.
No, nothing under the board. The foam pad keeps that pretty dry. That's the whole point of the foam pad. How long were you thinking about? Like,
Well, we can go as long as you're willing. Yeah, yeah. Whatever
Yeah.
you want to do.
I'd feel more comfortable if I let this sit with the fans on it for a little while.
Totally fine. Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah,
Some lunch?
yeah, that sounds like a
Yeah,
cool
we can
idea.
order some lunch. Yeah, that works. What would you like to eat?
Oh, I don't care. Anything that's not like standard chain restaurant. That'd
Okay.
be great.
So I did, early on in our communication, I did recommend Primanti's, if that's a Pittsburgh staple.
It is a Pittsburgh staple.
Pittsburgh staple.
Let's do it.
All right, let's do
Do you like big sandwiches?
I like sandwiches.
We're in.
All right, here. You want to place your order?
I'm trying to place another order right
Oh, for the Switch 2?
You trying to buy a Switch right now?
Is that on Miller? Oh, okay.
This dude, it wasn't enough that he was up till 3, showing up late. Now
Yeah.
he's doing it at work. You gonna let this fly?
Are you questioning me right now? What's this about, man? I'm focused over here trying to help Brian out and make ADATA and XPG look good. So how long do you think it needs to just kind of sit for?
Yeah, I mean, 30 minutes, an hour, or something
Okay,
like that.
all right, yeah, that's
all
fine.
right.
So you just like the PCB trying to get that to
Just making sure everything's 100% dry, because all these little ICs and everything,
Yeah.
a little bit of water can get underneath there, and boom, your board's dead.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, we're not in any rush. You know,
Oh, coming
ADATA
in
is sponsoring
hot
this,
with
so
the
this is what we have to do today.
Okay, awesome.
And if this is what we have to do to get a validated result, I'd rather do that.
Yeah, one thing we can do is check to make sure the valid didn't go. But I don't think it did, because it locked up. Mind if I go check that?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. So how does the custom cooler on the RAM actually make contact with the chip? So the cooler is on the RAM just like it normally would be. Right, so so you have the LANCER neon, right? So you have the heat spreader is touching the chips. The only thing special about this one right here is that then there's a top section that connects to the pot, so that the liquid nitrogen that's going in there is making contact with the top, and then because metal transfers heat very well, then it's connecting to the sides there as well. So, I mean, if you're just running this in your system, the Lancer Neon RGB, already, the heat spreader is already phenomenal, dropping temperatures by about 10%. 60% RGB surface area. This thing's wild, goes up to DDR5 8000. It's also the world's first eco-friendly RAM with 50% recycled plastic and 72% CO2 reduction. So, ADATA XPG creating something incredibly well. Good. What? Me fail English. Huh? That's impossible. Yeah, oh, Kyler wants to look at the Lancer Neon.
Kim lady?
You know we're live still.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was a Kim Possible joke. What's wrong with that?
I didn't know who you were talking about, so I wanted to.
I don't know any Kims.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah.
Can you show us what the RAM looks like in a system when you get a chance, please? We will be building a system at some point in the near future with the Lancer Neon RGB, as well as the ADATA Legend 900 Pro Gen 4 SSD. We're gonna have a system put together with that. We're using that in the system here, as well as the XPG 1600 watt titanium power supply. So we got a lot of heavy duty parts coming in from ADATA and their gaming brand XPG.
Who needs it?
He does.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll let him take the food order. So whenever.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Whenever you're
yeah,
ready, you can
okay.
place the
Yeah,
food
yeah,
order on my
oh.
phone. You should just probably do it not on camera. It's the only thing.
That's why I didn't walk over.
Yeah. As a South African, what's the best place to buy a PC? Wootware. Wootware.co.za. And guess what? Bam. Wootware has the Lancer Neon in stock. That means that they have this at their office. This isn't something that they order in for. They'll put this into your system. Beautiful. Yeah, so when I go to South Africa, I can get the Lancer Neon. Let's go. Yeah, they even have it for the DDR5 8000s. How much does that cost in USD? I don't want to answer that question. It doesn't matter. South African tech prices are very difficult. So right now we're in between overclocking attempts. The general idea of what's going on right now is we're attempting to have the fans just blow on the board, get rid of any condensation, any water that is resulting from the very cold temperatures that we were doing. And then we're gonna get back into trying to overclock the Lancer Neon a little bit further, trying to get a validated result. We did end up hitting, what was it, what? We got up to 12,660, but we were unable to verify it because the system locked up. So we're gonna try to get a verified result of that speed.
I understand it now.
Me with my 2666 mega transfer RAM. Yeah, we're going a little bit. We're not quite 6 times, over 5 times your speed.
Five.
You place your order?
Yes.
I wasn't talking about the Switch. Did you place your order for your food?
Yes.
Okay.
Because the answer to the Switch thing is no.
Oh, okay. Funnel cake fries.
What? How was?
Yeah. All right, I'll get them. We can all try it.
Okay, did you put any of those orange creamsicles in the fridge, or are they also
Nope.
just?
Oh yeah, those are room
downstairs?
temp. Possibly outside temp.
Did you put them outside?
They came from outside.
Man, I don't know what I want.
Perhaps a sandwich.
Maybe. I snagged a Switch last night. Pumped. Congrats, man. I got mine a couple weeks ago.
Couldn't be me.
What are you guys doing? Just got here. We are attempting to overclock some memory as fast as we possibly can. We're kind of in between attempts right now, so we're just waiting around.
Me for the 90 yen donation. With the cool sunglasses.
All right, food order placed. Says between 12:35 and 12:50. With the Switch 2, because of you being a content creator, do you get a review unit? No. No, I do not.
They don't know our history.
So when I had that liquid nitrogen overclocking day with Dr. Weeze almost a decade ago, one of the things that they did was they had a bowl of liquid nitrogen and they let us put like various objects in it to freeze them and break them.
Yeah,
So
that's
like
what we were gonna do.
like a tomato. That was fun. Yeah. Like
Although make some really good chocolate covered bananas.
I can't stress to the stream enough how much whiplash I got yesterday whenever I asked if you could touch the liquid nitrogen, and Brian just poured it on his hand without saying, like, just immediately.
yeah, so one of the cool things, because liquid nitrogen is so cold, it's subject to the, I think it's called the Leidenfrost effect, where it's boiling so rapidly that it creates a gas layer underneath as it boils. So if you just quickly get it on your hand, theoretically, don't do this at home, don't listen to me, it's boiling and you're not gonna feel it. It's like when you put water on a really hot skillet and it just kind of dances around. It's the same idea.
Still, it's ready.
Same idea. Don't try it at home. Not legal advice. I'm not a lawyer or an accountant. Sausage. Somebody in chat said to say sausage if I read that comment, and I did.
Keep it going.
What?
Everybody say sausage, keep it going.
Sausage.
Are you taking my RAM? Are you taking my Lancer Neon RGB?
I'll be back.
Come on, man.
What's he
All right.
doing with it?
I don't know what he's doing with it.
Being official
Try liquefied CO2.
That doesn't exist at ambient pressures.
Yeah, because it's dry ice, right?
Correct.
Yeah, it can't be a liquid. Yeah.
It can be a liquid at about 896 psi, if I remember correctly.
Oh wow. How do you have that just off the top of your head?
I use liquid CO2 for making soda.
Okay.
Fellow soda stream enjoyer?
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, I have mine hooked to a 20-ton CO2 tank though.
We don't.
That's awesome.
We carbonated olive oil with ours.
Oh yeah, for the charity live stream we did. One of the punishments. If so, how much was the amount? If somebody donated 1,000.
Was it? It was the 600 number.
Okay. Yeah. If somebody donated like $600,
Yeah.
621.
Yeah, that's what I knew it was a significant number.
We had to carbonate various things that shouldn't be carbonated. So olive oil was one, milk,
Tomato juice.
chicken broth, garlic oil,
Garlic juice,
and onion juice.
Oh my gosh.
None of it was pleasant. None of it was good. There was, yeah. That sounds vile. It was. It was vile. But we all consented to it.
Chicken but no jockey.
Chicken brothy.
This is not a cricket jersey. This is a rugby jersey.
That's a Springbok, not a cricket.
The cricket team's actually the Proteas, not the Springboks.
The flower?
Yes. Yeah.
I know things.
But I do have a Protea on here, which is also might be one of the reasons why they're confusing it.
It's like the color blindness, right?
What?
Protanopia?
When people make them phones?
I'm gonna go to the bathroom. Kyler, you entertain the people.
I'll entertain the people. Hey guys, my name's Kyler, and I'm currently trying to buy a Switch on my phone. Who wants to guess if I got one yet? Hi, Tyler. That's not what I said. You look vibable today? Don't lie to me. Hey.
Guess?
Oh, Michael wants to guess.
You didn't.
I didn't get one. No. Hey guys, we have a new UFD channel owner. That would be me. Did you pay $6.50? I've paid nothing, because I don't have one. Switch to bent test video.
Would you be willing?
I'd be mildly willing.
There you go.
You suck. Buddy. Kyler owns UFD channel now. What can I say? I'm good at business. Switch to bench press video. Did you get the record? Not yet.
Notice how we didn't say no. We just said not yet.
We're prepping for a little redo. PC has an Intel Pentium 8 gigs of RAM and a GT 710, is a Steam Deck a good upgrade? Are you you're being silly? You're being coy with me right now. UFD deal segment. My deal today is Switch 2 pre-orders are allegedly, they're allegedly out. I'm giving up for now. I'm putting my phone in my pocket. Tung tung sir. Samurai, thank you for the 1,000 biddies. 144 hertz monitor. Should I be using VC? Oh, I lost it. It scrolled. You said it wrong? I've never actually seen any of those videos. I just hear Michael say it sometimes. Do you hear him? Because he said it. Turn off VSync. Should I buy a Steam Deck or Nintendo Switch 2?
Totally different things.
Yeah. Do you want to ask yourself this. Do you want to play Mario Kart? And act accordingly. I saw a tweet last night that was like, everybody's losing their minds about Switch 2 pre-orders whenever all the launch titles are just Mario Kart and a bunch of games that are already out.
That they've announced so far. There might be other ones.
Yeah, but everybody's losing their minds solely off of that knowledge, me included.
Alright. Bombardillo crocodillo.
Bombardillo crocodillo. I'm not playing with you? If you're not playing with me, then yes, you will enjoy a Steam Deck much more than your GT 710. Yeah, DJ Glocker, I do believe that 12,660 is what we were at. The Steam Deck can run Gary's mod with 10,000 workshops. You mean to say can't? Ballerina Cappuccina. How you doing, my favorite clam man? Hanging in there. Got minimal sleep. Oh, you got a Steam Deck on the cheap? Very good, Ultra Stefanos. Does the Switch 2 have Foot Simulator? Probably not.
Here, how about we do a little intermission? Yeah, you put on the bumper and the music. We'll be back.
All right. He did not like that you said Foot Simulator.
I can dig that.
All right.
I'm going to bed.
All right. I'm going to bed.
2 different socks.
Oh,
Yeah. All right, guys, we just had a succulent Pittsburgh meal.
Did you want to do?
Yes, I sure did.
Oh yeah. That's why.
We should be ready to get back into it shortly. Thank you, everybody, for allowing us to have an intermission while the motherboard dried up. It should be ready to go sometime soon. Just as a reminder, what we're doing is we are attempting to set a world record for frequency using ADATA's XPG LANCER Neon RGB memory. During the first attempt, we hit 12,660. Unfortunately, we didn't get validation on that one, so we're gonna go for it again. We're being joined by Doom, also known as Brian, who is one of the top overclockers in the entire world, and he is learning us something good on how to do liquid nitrogen overclocking for memory and just some general principles for how to do it at all. So we had the fans running to get rid of condensation from the first run that we did. So 12,660, that was higher than your previous attempts.
Correct.
Which was 12,618. So we did get higher.
We just didn't get a valid file yet.
In my moment of glory.
Thank you, HTC. Yes, guys, if you want to check out Doom's actual history, all of his submissions, to see the numbers that he's putting up on HWBot, that link is in the Twitch chat for you to be able to see.
Benefits everybody.
So right now we're just getting the board prepped again. We have the pot prepared on the RAM. There's a heat sink on the RAM, which is then connected to the pot, which we're then going to pour liquid nitrogen into to keep it down to minus, what was it?
136, 138,
yeah.
somewhere in there.
And then the CPU's down to roughly minus 70, I think is where you're keeping it. So the current world record for memory frequency is 6386.2, and that was set 11 days ago.
whoa.
So we got very close. We were 6330.
That's pretty good.
330. Yeah.
So we're just about 50, 60 megahertz off of the world record. Cool GPU cooling plate? Yeah, it's a fish. Looks like a fish. Do you mind if we pull it out and show it to the overhead camera?
Go ahead.
Thank you. It's a fish. It's got HDMI and DVI.
Oh, that doesn't just look like a fish. That like is a fish.
It's a fish.
It's a fish. GT710 fish. Yeah, it looks like it has the scales and everything.
I wonder if you could pull the heat sink off of it and put it on a better card.
I mean, it's a I mean, you would have to get a fan if you're putting it on.
Yeah.
Much better of a card. Yeah. So right now what we're doing is getting the entire situation prepped to prevent condensation to leaking on the board.
Fish named it. I'll let that one stew a little bit.
What's the coolant? We're using liquid nitrogen.
The amount of willpower it takes for me to not say Clear every time you say condensation.
I don't understand it.
Nor
Out of
the
the water.
condensation.
What's this?
That show about mermaids that like were on land, but if they touch water, they turn back into mermaids. And like one of them like picks up like a glass with condensation on it, like turns back into a mermaid.
I was not aware of any of this.
It was like a show for like teenagers.
Okay.
It was around like Degrassi era.
Yeah, yeah. What was it called?
Aquamarine.
Had that ready.
So making sure there's no condensation on the board, the towel's keeping everything dry, and then we also have the thermal probes right here giving us the temperatures that we need to know for both the CPU as well as the memory.
We're still good on the chat.
Yeah, we're good. Yeah, everything's fine. And again, big thanks to ADATA for providing all of the parts that we need in order to do this liquid nitrogen overclocking attempt, for flying Brian out here to our studio, for allowing us to just have time to spend with him and try to do something fun and something that hopefully nobody's done before. That's the goal.
That's the goal.
Don't give up, Key.
Here, you wanna...
Don't give up.
Yeah, I'll get some.
Don't give up, Key. You can't give up.
So we have our giant liquid nitrogen container, which this is the unpressurized version. There's an even bigger pressurized version downstairs. Michael.
Yeah.
With taking out your PC outside in -5 Celsius good enough? No, we're getting down to -138. We're going below what you can naturally get on Earth. Hopefully you're not in -138 weather anywhere.
Man,
There's problems.
I was just about to bring up that somebody did do that in like a cold climate. where
Yeah,
they
I
just
think it was
put-
in like
Oh,
Serbia
yeah,
or
people
something.
do that all
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, cold temperatures outside, I mean, you can do some fun things with the PC, some mild overclocking, but it's not quite what we're doing. Coldest temperature ever recorded was -89 Celsius.
Oh, so that's what, like
Rice.
12 degrees Fahrenheit?
Sorry,
-89 Celsius? No.
-128. Wait, no, that can't be right.
Is that
Yes.
the coldest recorded,
On Earth, yeah.
just like naturally occurring?
Yeah, in Antarctica,
Okay.
July 21st, 1983.
That's horrifying.
That is, yeah, that's colder than rice.
All right, so we're getting liquid nitrogen started. We're starting at 22 degrees Celsius roughly, and you can see that that number is now quickly dropping.
Jason Gee, you're the guy that posted the McDonald's PC thing on Reddit? Welcome.
Suspension? Look, we have 120 B-roll of like pouring in.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, from yesterday.
That'll look really cool and slow though.
Yeah.
That's why I was asking.
Part of the bumper.
I didn't watch the bumpers. I don't watch the bumpers.
Wow. That explains it.
You're lost.
Usually busy.
All right, we're at 9 degrees Celsius, 10 degrees Celsius right now. It's climbing. Oh wait, no, I missed the minus sign. What's wrong with me?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say, why is it getting
I, we're at minus 20. We're at minus 20. That was my bad.
Put in the solid nitrogen. That stuff makes it warm.
Need quite a bit of pressure to make solid nitrogen.
Can you do that?
Yes.
I didn't go science school.
Yeah, with changing pressures, like it can change the state of matter for a lot of different elements. Like there's a pressure and temperature amount where air becomes liquid. You don't want that.
Why?
You just can't breathe.
But you drink it. Same thing. If there's oxygen in it, you can drink it. It's fine.
No. Just no.
I went to art school.
All right, we're at minus 47. We got about another negative 90 to go.
Hopefully you've got the area well vented.
Yeah, we got a pretty
plenty
big
of
space.
ventilation here.
We got a window cracked.
Do it.
Yeah, I cracked the windows over
That's
the weekend.
downstairs.
The door? Right there, buddy.
Is that how you pronounce it? Is it doer?
Dewar, doer. I hear it a bunch of different ways.
Okay.
Maybe
so
this is the Pittsburgh thing, because the guy on the phone was calling it a door.
Doer.
You'll hear that a lot. Yeah.
So is that the big one or the
They're both.
They're both dewars.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
One's pressurized, one's
Yeah, it's
unpressurized.
just pressurized versus unpressurized, and there's different pressures that they can sit at for the pressurized ones too. The unpressurized are just so much easier to handle.
How it feels to chew 5 gum.
So with the speed that we got earlier that we didn't verify, or we would have been in 6th place.
Correct.
This was not charged.
It doesn't charge when you have it plugged in.
Oh.
The AC supply is just an AC supply. It doesn't charge the battery. So you have to plug it in and then swap out the battery.
Okay. Where are the batteries? Charge station?
Kitchen.
We'll swap that out soon.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna do
A lot of people are saying the forbidden cup of water.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Do not mix up your drinking cup and your liquid nitrogen cup.
Have them in separate Stanleys.
Yes.
Now we're doing the CPU. It's dropping from 20.
I like it when this seconds.
This CPU pod is very fast, as in it drops the temperature
Yeah.
extremely quickly.
Now we're in the negatives already. Negative 95 on the memory, already down to negative 10 on the CPU. Down to negative 101 on the memory. Yes, we're currently trying to get the RAM and the CPU down to the temperature that we want in order to boot the system. We're looking to be at about minus 70 on the CPU and minus 138 on the RAM. And the attempt that we're doing is we're not benchmarking, we're just trying to set the memory frequency record currently. We need to pass 6386.2 for the single frequency, and then you double that for that to be over 12,000 megahertz.
Mega transfers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's listed as megahertz here. It's
Yeah. Just one of those things.
And the memory that we're using is the LANCER Neon RGB from XPG, which is ADATA's gaming division. The LANCER Neon has 60% coverage of RGB. Lot of lights on these things.
Yeah, look at, like, I didn't realize it at first how much of it actually lit up until I held the thing up to the packaging.
Yeah.
But, like, the actual stick, like, the entire thing lights up.
Yeah. All right, looks like the CPU's down to temperature. We're at minus 71, and we're still going on the RAM. Minus 125 now.
Which one's Walter? Jesse.
We're going to see the records for these attempts. Yes, it's on the HWBot website. Here, I'll drop it in.
HWBot.org.
Yes, I'll drop the specific link into Twitch chat. So that's the link for the memory frequency specifically. With the previous validated result from Doom, he is currently in 8th place. With the one that we weren't able to validate earlier, we would have been in 6th place. But we are gunning for number 1. That is the goal. All right, we're ready for booting.
Yep.
All right.
Ready to boot it.
Minus 138 on the memory, minus 71.6 on the CPU. Kyler, switch over to the capture, please, so that everybody can see what we're going to be doing. So is the plan to boot into 12?
I'm gonna try and boot 12.133 again.
Okay. So we're going to try to boot 12,133 mega transfers just from the jump.
I can tell by the way the system's acting that we're in at 12,000 right now.
Okay. Switch back over, Kyle.
Breaking boards.
Good luck.
Hopefully breaking records, not boards.
Well, yeah, I think we need to have some, like, phraseology specific to, Kyler, the screen capture.
Oh, I'm done.
That's fine. You know, there's good luck, there's break a leg. Break a chip. No.
Drop it right aboard.
May your temps be cold and your frequency high.
Yes.
Bend a pin.
That's pretty good. Well, it's kind of like break the leg. You're saying the thing that's bad. Did you guys break the record? Not yet. Not yet. We're still working on it. We're on our second round now. Windows boot issue.
Yeah. Typical when something isn't happy.
We're booting in. Again, our CPU is the Core Ultra 7265K, and we are booted in to Windows at 12.133. So you guys can see the DRAM frequency number says 6066. The world record would be 6387 or so. Is where we're trying to get. So we need about another 250 megahertz, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it is. It is a lot. We locked up at 6188. Which isn't the record, but that's still 16th place. That is the 16th fastest memory speed in the entire world.
Waiting on the temperature to get booted in.
Okay. It's down to 136, so we're turning on the system now.
You just subbed? I love you too.
Okay, can you start recording?
Thank you for the gifted game.
2 times my speed, now I understand. Yes. So the RAM kit that ADATA provided us, UFD Tech, is rated for 6,400 megatransfers. We're essentially doing double that. Not quite, but we're getting close. Alright, so we booted in at 12.133 again. Insane numbers these things can pull off. Yeah, the Lancer Neon RGB RAM from ADATA, I mean, it's doing very, very well. Again, we're top 10 already with this stick of RAM. And by we, I mean me. I did all the work. I have done all of the overclock. It's Brian here. It's Doomed.
In my moment of glory.
$61.88. This is where it froze last time, right?
Yeah.
$62.48. Look at us.
There we
62-64. That puts us in 13th place. $62.79.
I.
You want to get that actual? Yeah.
62.79 was 11th place. That's where we locked up there. It's UPS. What?
Is that the? No, that's FedEx.
Yeah. How much liquid nitrogen have you guys poured? Not a lot.
Not a lot. This is pretty low power, so it's not getting a whole lot of nitrogen. Probably only used about 4 liters last session, and probably only about 1.5 liters this session so far.
And we're mostly we're trying to get the RAM going, and that's a single stick. It's not dissipating as much heat as it would if we were trying to do a CPU frequency. I have a question. When you say locked up, is the system just crashing? Yes.
Yes, it is crashed.
It's because everything is unstable. The PC is not able to communicate with itself properly. How big does ambient temps impact stability besides condensation issues?
Ambient temps can impact your stability. That's to run like DDR5 8000 or higher. A lot of times you have to have some sort of airflow over your memory.
Okay.
Because it generally gets unhappy at about 50 C.
Okay. Why overclock when you can just download faster RAM? Because that's the quitter's way.
I have yet to be able to download my RAM. I keep hearing about this, but never been able to do it.
When Minecraft server's real slow, then
download and overclock. Speaking of that, I was in an amateur overclocking competition in 2016, and I was in first place. And some guy was having some like major problems with his system. They had like 5 set up, and like it wasn't just like he couldn't get it to overclock. It was like just broken. His computer wasn't working. So they put him on my system, and he quickly saved my profile to apply it to his to try to like download my overclock for his numbers. And then the people who were running it were like, no. Let's reset this BIOS, and you're gonna do this from scratch. Yeah, you can download overclocking profiles.
Yes.
I mean, that a big part of the extreme overclocking community is the community aspect. It's not, as far as I'm aware, it's not like people are just trying to keep trade secrets.
No. The top guys sometimes they like try to keep a little secret in their pocket, but for the most part, it's just, hey, what did you do?
Yeah.
Can you help me with this? And most people are pretty friendly and helpful.
Yeah. And it's also, even if they give you their exact profile that they use.
It's not necessarily going to work on your hardware.
Yeah.
Right?
Silicon lottery, some pieces of hardware react differently to different settings, and that's like part of it is Brian's had time with this RAM stick to learn its behaviors for us to even just get this close to the record.
A few days.
What kind of liquor, Tyler?
Newegg boxes.
Okay.
I don't know what's in them.
I do.
I thought you might.
I didn't mind
Sure why it's taking so long to do.
What?
Just waiting. What?
I switched your camera.
Oh. Well, I'm just waiting for like something to happen.
It is happening. This is what.
I know, but like, I
Overclocking
don't
is.
want to get in the way by like getting a close up of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes this is what overclocking is. Just waiting on it to work.
So what's the reason we're not trying to bring it down to as cold as possible?
Exactly what you said a minute ago, where like you said you have somebody's profile and you transfer it over to your hardware.
Yeah.
And it doesn't work exactly the same. Same thing, specific hardware likes specific temperatures.
Okay.
For certain things. Like a buddy of mine, he runs his memory frequency, so his CPU at minus 80 or so, and I found that this CPU likes it about minus 70. So it's just different things for different pieces, different temperatures for different pieces of hardware. Get back in the BIOS because it's not.
These pots are cold. Yeah, you can see condensation building up on the top of the containers that have the liquid nitrogen.
Temperatures are right there.
Tweaking it is the hard part, I would guess. I mean, it's a lot of trial and error.
A lot of trial and error, yes.
Like, you can have vague understandings of how specific pieces of hardware, like certain generations of CPUs tend to be in the same, voltage range, same frequency that you could kind of expect. But like dialing it in to get to this level where it's like we're on the bleeding edge of almost hitting the world record. That's where it's the tedious, time-consuming learning, tweaking, adjusting, all of that. Yeah, like we're roughly 80 megahertz, or 160 if you double it, off of the world record, and that's going to take a while for us to figure out how to get it there. What CPU you guys running? It's the Core Ultra 7 265K. And we're on the Z890 platform on a specifically designed extreme overclocking motherboard. Yeah, it seems like it likes to boot a bit better at 12.
Yeah, it does, it seems. We just have further to go.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're in at 12.
Just booting in at 12 is the 38th fastest speed.
Yes. Yes. My record for ambient temperatures was 5950.
Okay. We're at 6180. That's 17th place. 6195. $62.10. That jumped us up to 15th. $62.25 puts us in 14th. See, it's the small little jumps here that are moving us up the rankings.
Yeah. And
But it's those last little ones that are.
if you ask some people, I'm crazy for jumping that fast. So.
$62.54. $62.70. Locked. So close yet so far. Yep.
Yeah. May take a little bit.
Yeah, take your time. Whatever your expertise is telling you to try. How do y'all record when you're overclocking when the PC isn't on? We have another computer. We're not overclocking the one that's
Yes.
recording it.
We're not
Right.
streaming from the.
Who knew watching a couple dudes stare at a computer while pouring liquid nitrogen could be so entertaining?
Yes.
Liquid nitrogen overclocked RAM. Am I seeing stuffs right now? Yeah, you're
Yes.
seeing it happen. We're going for the world record for memory frequency. Wait, you have more than one computer?
Yeah, we have two.
Yeah. We're actually giving away 2 computers right now. If you type ! giveaway into the chat. We're down to minus 150. Are you trying to get the memory colder?
What I'm trying to do is get the pot cold enough that actually get rid of the Leidenfrost effect. It actually makes the nitrogen react quicker
Okay.
on the pot. But now I've got to bring it back up to temp, which can take a little while.
Okay. Are you rage baiting by calling wine an emulator? Its name is literally an acronym of wine is not an emulator. Yeah, because people who love Linux cannot help but comment if I say the wine emulator. It is free engagement.
Also, Cam D. Where's Cam? First of all, where's Cam A, B, and C?
Uh-huh.
But also,
This is
You said this exact thing earlier today when we responded to you.
There are certain phrases that I know are meaningless nuances that I love. Like, for all intents and purposes, unless you're super technical, wine is an emulator. The reason it stands for wine is not an emulator is because it's easy to think it is.
I thought it stood for wine is a nice emulator.
That's what it, yeah. Wine is now emulating is also, yeah.
Oh, is that, that's...
Yeah, that's what I said in the video. What's the point of the fan if you're cooling the PC to 150? Well, you can see that they're set to exhaust, so they're blowing up. And the goal there is to make sure that the nitrogen gas is flying away instead of down so that it doesn't sit on the board and condensate.
If we get a little loud right quick.
Go ahead, do what you need to do.
Process.
All right, now we're back to 138.
That's the sound we want.
Huh? What are you doing? We're pouring Sprite onto a motherboard because we don't like it.
McDonald's Sprite specific.
It's got the extra bubbles.
Yeah.
I have probably a very stupid question. There's no threat of anything cracking, is there? That's not a stupid question.
Cracking? The only threat of anything cracking would be the thermal paste. And it does make a rather loud pop when it cracks. But we're not really in the temperature range where you're gonna make that happen, and I've never had it happen with this thermal paste. And by crack, I mean literally what happens is that the temperature differential between the bottom of the pot and the CPU IHS or whatever you're cooling is so much that they pull apart.
Oh, okay.
And there's a separation because the thermal paste isn't reacting quick enough.
All right. PC. Thank you. The CPU temps were at minus 71, 72 degrees Celsius. The memory were at minus 138. And we're booting in at 12 gigahertz, gigatransfers. $61.80, $61.95, $62.10, $62.25, $62.40, 55. So that just increases it by 15 each time,
Um,
typically.
Yeah, well, it
Blue
depends
screen.
upon what you booted in at and what I've set it to.
Okay.
Yeah, we're.
What RAM and CPU are you using? We have the XPG LANCER Neon RGB is the stick that is being cooled. And the CPU is the Intel Core Ultra 7 265K. So we have the LANCER Neon RGB from XPG, 60% coverage of RGB across the entire heat spreader. 50% recycled plastic and 72% lower CO2 production because this is the world's first eco-friendly kit of RAM. And it can go up to speeds of DDR5 8000 just stock. That's or just like off the shelf.
XMP.
If you purchase it with XMP. Thank you, HTC. Yeah, you guys can check out the LANCER Neon RGB by clicking that link. Yeah, 8,000 mega transfers is very fast for just putting that in your PC and not having to really do much because you just enable the XMP profile. So the reason you guys start out at 6,000 instead of 8,000. So it's 6,000, but it's doubled. So when you see what's on the box, it says 6,400. It's actually 3,200 in the BIOS because it's double data rate. So it's moving twice the amount of data. So booting in at 6,000 is us booting in at an effective DDR5 12,000. If we booted it at if we set it to 8,000, that would not work. That would be the world record instantly. Because that would be 16,000 mega transfers, which is significantly above the world record right now.
So what I just went in the BIOS and did was actually adjusting what those buttons do.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna go a little bit higher, bigger jumps, so move it along faster.
Hefe, that is correct. If we hit 6387, we will be in first place with this LANCER Neon RGB memory. Do the timings affect memory that much with the high overclocks? Yes. Yeah, you don't want to keep your timings tight when you're doing this. You're not running it at CL32 or anything. We're actually running it at CL62, is that correct?
62, correct.
Beds.
So are you tweaking anything when you're restarting the PC?
Mostly right now, I'm just trying to get the temperatures right.
Okay.
When it's at the correct spots in the boot, it doesn't like to boot if the RAM is too cold or the CPU is too warm or too cold.
Okay. We're trying to keep the CPU between -70 and -72,
Yeah.
roughly in that region. And then the RAM right around -138.
It's an endless pit of liquid nitrogen.
Not quite endless, but we do have a lot.
I think
they mean that like
pot.
you can just keep pouring it in because it's evaporating.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay.
But like
yeah,
it
I
looks
understand
like
now.
an endless pit.
Yeah.
You're pouring it into.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it just keeps sucking it out.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Because what we've probably poured about 6 liters in, and it's like this big.
Yeah.
See, yeah, it evaporates very, very quickly in there. Not happy.
Anything after this, we use extra, celebrate with some homemade Dippin' Dots.
Did you see? Somebody already suggested that.
Oh really? That is how you make it.
Yeah.
Flash freezing.
Yeah, you just drip like liquid ice cream mixture in.
How much liquid nitrogen do you have?
We
A
got 40
hilarious amount. Like
No,
a
it
comical
got
amount.
160
got a
liter.
160 liter.
Oh, never mind.
That was the pressurized one.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
those tanks, they often don't come full. Usually, if you're lucky, if you get 80% of what's rated. And then the longer it sits, the less you'll get.
All I know is that thing is heavy.
Yes. yeah, it's probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 800 pounds.
That is, yeah, you know what you're talking about. That's what the guy on the phone told me too.
What's the target speed? 6387 would be the goal. We're just trying to get it to it into Windows right now.
Yeah, we're struggling a little bit right now. Not sure.
You can see the condensation building up on the pot and the plastic, and even a little bit on the motherboard as well, next to the buttons.
Yeah, the buttons are all frosted over now.
I can't really get a good look in there. Oh, there it is. Yeah, there it is.
Why is it not turning on? Because it doesn't want to.
Because it's not happy. Something is not happy, and I'm not sure what. We'll see.
Supernova motherboards like that, the most expensive ones on the market, typically aren't the best for overclocking because they put a lot of R&D and research into the flash of it, the looks of it, not just the performance of it. When it comes to extreme overclocking, it's a different type of motherboard. So like typically you want as few RAM slots as possible to have the traces from the RAM going to the CPU and have that be as short as possible because you want to minimize any sort of electrical noise or signal interference or anything like that. So motherboards that are specifically designed for extreme overclocking have fewer features and typically don't look as flashy as like the $1,500 motherboards that you can sometimes get. Typically, those really expensive motherboards are good for like the fastest non-extreme overclocking. So like getting DDR5 8000 working, that typically goes well on higher end or more pricey motherboards. How much LN2 do you need before you worry about displaced oxygen? In the size of this room, a lot.
It's quite a bit, yeah. You would have to spill the entire container there.
I fix it.
Huh?
I fix it. Alright, switch to the game. PC. Color. Oh, were you trying to load a profile and
I
accidentally
tried
overwrote it?
accidentally saved over it. Yep.
Oh.
I have it somewhere else, so
Okay.
I just have to go grab it real quick.
Do you need me to do anything? Keep watching the temperatures?
It should be alright.
Okay.
Yeah, and if you're comfortable doing that, please.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it didn't leave California. 7 a.m. this morning.
Better be on an airplane.
All right, Brett's gonna pour.
So this is being recorded.
I haven't touched the BIOS, so no.
What are you doing?
I'm pouring the liquid nitrogen.
What do you mean by that?
Yeah, the joke is I won 2 overclocking championships, amateur, and then I was HWBot's rookie champion in 2016, and then I stopped. And I quit.
Hey,
I quit at the top.
quit while you're ahead,
Yeah,
right?
I retired, being very good at it, and then now I can't be disappointed. Rather, easy. England has a better rugby team, then why did they lose in the World Cup to South Africa? Why did everybody lose to South Africa?
I think they might have played that.
Why did South Africa win 2 World Cups in a row? And the most World Cups in the rugby history? I don't know. Where are you in South Africa that is sunny? America. We're in Pennsylvania.
Synonymous with sunny.
They haven't made a TV show about it.
Yeah, they got that city where it's always
There we go. We're booting now.
Finally.
Oh, get the new boots out.
Does the cold from the CPU affect the other components? Yeah, there's frost building up on the motherboard.
Yeah, it's not near as bad when you're only cooling one component with liquid nitrogen. When you're doing 2 or more, it gets to be a lot real quick.
6060.
That'll come up.
The graphics card. 6120. $61.80. That puts us in 17th place. 6240.
Oh,
Blue screen.
Even the town's getting frosty.
Yep. That happens.
PC capture card. Thank you. Do they ever compete for the slowest clocks possible?
Every once in a while. Yes.
Because that's also, it's the same skill where you're trying to see how stable it can be.
Yes. And sometimes they have, like, there's an achievement for having a certain benchmark run for 12 hours or more.
Oh, wow.
You need to charge it.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Slow loading. Not sure why. It's interesting. Profile fresh. Seemed to have fixed that earlier, so I'm gonna try it again.
Okay.
Oh, my gooseneck. What are you doing?
That's fine.
Why'd you take me? Back. Stop. You're gonna make me recalibrate the gimbal.
Okay. Computer. See if that gets us into Windows.
Yeah, I just realized I forgot to change it from 12.133. So, we'll see. Maybe it'll boot anyway.
Looks like it's still struggling to get into Windows.
Probably doesn't help that I overboard the memory.
Yes, indeed. This is liquid nitrogen that we are pouring into the computers. Bit cold in it? Yes, yeah.
Bit cold in it.
Wee bit nippy.
Wee bit.
We're trying to keep the RAM around minus 138 degrees Celsius and the CPU around minus 71. All right, thank you.
I'll put it back on.
That's DHL. I have no idea what they're delivering.
Double. Like them bags.
Can you overclock RAM? Yes, you can, and that's exactly what we're doing.
Exactly what we're doing.
With the XPG LANCER Neon RGB. The fastest kit that ADATA sells of this at retail is 8,000 megatransfers, and we've been able to hit over 12,600 megatransfers by doing the liquid nitrogen overclocking.
Trust to that guy.
Huh.
Me?
Yeah.
I bet it's another controller.
You wanna go check? I can switch it
I'll
quickly.
just
Yeah.
run this one.
Can it run Minesweeper? Not currently. Once we get into Windows, probably.
Maybe.
Thanks for the Prime sub.
Oh, it's another weird controller.
Astro Stream.
Yeah.
This came in the mail.
Whoa.
It's a PlayStation 4 controller. All right.
Is that the Cuphead controller? There's a Cuphead controller?
Correct response.
I think it's what, Dragon Quest?
Yeah, it's for one of whatever Dragon Quest game came out for PS4.
I can hear it. What's the world record and where are you at? The world record is 6,386.2. And we got to 6,330-ish. So we got to about 6th place. There we go.
Holy crap. About time.
Finally going into Windows again. So we've booted in at 6,000. Up to 6060.
I'm not gonna say it.
6120. 6180. 6186. 6192. 6198. Will it run Doom? No, Doom is running it right now. $62.04. That is a 15th place speed, 6210. $62.16 puts us in 14th place. 6240. $62.46 puts us in 13th place. $62.58. Being a lot more methodical this time. Slower jumps, more consistent. $62.70 puts us in 12th place. $62.75 puts us in 11th place. What is driving the frequency up? The button on the motherboard. You can configure them to do specific amounts of jumps in the frequency. And so we're going up by 6 each time. $62.94. This next one will put us in 10th place. We're in 10th place. $62.99. Locked up.
All right, it's 6,300.
6,300. What are you using to cool it? Liquid nitrogen.
Yeah, switch me on the show the big thing.
It's that. No, that was all.
There's a bigger one downstairs.
There's an 800-pound container downstairs.
That one likes to talk to you.
It does. It gets a little pissed off sometimes.
Did it crash at 6,300? Yes, it did. $6,300 is still a very, very respectable speed.
Yeah.
That's 12,600 mega transfers. Oh, back into Windows immediately.
Sometimes.
Well, it helps.
Just
when
don't ask my wife.
It helps when you have RAM like the LANCER Neon RGB from ADATA. Starting out at 6,000 again. Keep in mind that 6,300 puts us in 10th place. Anything above that, we start climbing real quick. 6,310 is what Doom's record is on the website. Is there a temp reading? Yes, we have temperature probes connected to both the CPU as well as the memory, sitting right next to us where we can see and keep track of the temperatures. We're keeping the memory at minus 138 and we're keeping the CPU at minus 72.
Things have become serious.
The fact that it just boots at 12K is so silly. It is, yeah. It's very impressive. All right, 6251.
Friend set the record there. He booted at 12.533.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. The CPU is the Intel Core Ultra 7265K. That's 6275, 6276. And a blue screen.
Oh, yeah, it was my fault.
Yeah, as
All
soon
your
as you hit the beep, it crashed. Yeah, you can see we have the temperature readings right here. Whatever you did introduce, like, electrical interference.
A little bit of EMI is all it takes.
The little friction, the friction from the button
Yeah.
added heat to the room.
It was that neutrino from the sun that came in and flipped the bit, like in that Mario speedrun. All right, I mean, we're consistently booting into Windows now, which is
Finally.
yes.
I'm gonna try something crazy here. I'm gonna try pulling the memory down a little cooler.
He's gonna try something crazy. He said, getting it colder. How is that possible?
It's plugged in.
Did you trip over it?
I haven't moved. Yeah, it's off.
Maybe turn down the temperature in here. Is that going to impact things if we turn down the ambient temperature?
You guys splash
Yeah, I'll do it.
on it, right?
Yeah, just pour some liquid nitrogen on the camera. Don't come
Or
back.
don't.
All right, we're down to minus 148 on the memory.
Whoa.
Normally it doesn't behave down here.
Down to minus 150 now.
Those ones and zeros are really slow.
6222. $62.34. Getting close to 6,300 again, except for we locked up at 6276. You clicked the button again and it crashed.
There was
You
a,
stop
there was
doing
a
it.
delay that time.
You should stop.
I caught it. I'll put the camera down.
Which I'm really hoping stops.
I actually might put it down for a bit. My back feels like I've hold this for like 5 hours.
Yeah, you're fine. You're fine. We're recording everything anyways, so.
There's a little camera.
Okay, sounds good. Your sound vibrations from that beep noise. It's disturbing the electrons.
See, that one, the sound isn't on that.
Good.
Speaking of backs hurting,
My back.
Okay. It's probably because you stayed up till 3 a.m. trying to get the Switch too. You're probably sitting like a shrimp doing that
Because
too.
I sit like a shrimp on the stool. I'm trying really hard to not sit like a shrimp.
Want to take a turn on the Roman?
No.
It'll stretch you out.
I'm gonna lay on the floor.
Grease mode.
So you decided just to keep it closer to 138 now?
No, I'm gonna try pulling it down again.
Okay.
Once we get into Windows. Of course, I overpoured just a second ago, so we'll see if we do it.
Back into Windows. There we go. Starting over again at 12.
Try and bring it back to minus 150.
Okay. Going for minus 150.
I thought you said the sound wasn't on.
It wasn't earlier.
Nope. Nope.
You just killed the
Didn't
computer,
like
man!
Dude.
It turned off! I don't know, man. Go work on something else. Every time.
Well, I think I put the wrong camera.
I think you may have, yeah, picked up the wrong one.
No, this is the right one.
Yeah, Softbread even said Foggy don't beep, and then you beeped and killed the PC.
This guy.
Is the postcode even locking up?
Yeah, it's not happy.
Right. Now the computer won't know when I press the button. Because it's silent mode.
It's going blanky mode.
No, we need to shut it down.
Okay.
Unfortunately, that 00 is too ominous.
Okay.
Usually that's a CPU not being recognized.
Okay. Yeah.
So, unfortunately, that's all we can get for now.
Okay. Yeah. We can either continue today or maybe we can do it tomorrow. It's up to you.
Yeah, I'm game.
Okay. Maybe we'll come back fresh tomorrow. Let it sit for a little bit, and then try again.
Yep.
I mean, we did pretty good today.
We did.
Yeah.
I might try and tweak some settings later.
Okay. Yeah. Feel free. Yeah. All right. Well, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in to this world record attempt. Sounds like we're going to be back tomorrow trying it again. Big thank you to ADATA for sponsoring the stream, sponsoring the parts, flying Brian Doomed83 out here for us to be able to do that, providing the LANCER Neon RGB memory as well as the Legend 900 Pro SSD for us to be able to run all of this and get to try something new here at UFD Tech. Some liquid nitrogen overclocking, and we'll try again tomorrow. All right. Goodbye, everybody.